welcome aboard. Once you have located your seat, we ask that you please step out of the aisle so the passengers behind you can pass you. This will expedite our boarding process. Your large carry-on items need to go in the overhead compartments. Your smaller ones underneath the seat in front of you, keeping all exits and aisles clear. If you need assistance, please contact the flight attendant.
Hello, everybody. Good evening. Good evening. Good evening. Thank you for joining us for our special edition podcast. Tonight we have a special guest by the name of Darren, who's over across the pond already. He lives in London, so this is going to be our official tour guide. Our official tour guide, but I feel like it's best to have Darren because what good could I do or Jack Spade do if we don't live there to tell you what to do, how to do it, and when to do it, right? So we have to bring someone who lives in London, who lives in the UK, right? What can us Westerners say to somebody who doesn't live there, right? We just use Google. And Google works when it wants to, but also Google can lead us in some bad directions, right? So without further ado, we're going to bring on Darren to the show. Hey, Darren, thanks for joining us. I know it's late. I know it's a little after midnight. Yeah. But I think it's well worth it. So thank you for taking the time.
No problem.
Your morning to give us some insight about London. All right. So let's see. We're probably gonna have some questions. So people a little late getting to the party, but
no problem.
They're joining here momentarily. I know a lot of people have some questions because people are asking, what to do, how to do it, when to do it, when's the best time. So
I'll try my best.
But I know that you can answer all of those questions. I know a lot of folks are arriving. Some people are starting to arrive tomorrow. Some people left this evening, but some people are going to start arriving tomorrow, Tuesday, Wednesday, and in that Wednesday, Thursday window. But for those who are flying into Heathrow, what would be their best way of transportation?
Okay. Can you hear me? Okay.
Yeah. You guys can. Everybody should be able to hear you. I can hear you fine, so I think they should be able to hear
you. Well, there's kind of 3 different ways into the centre of London, but I think the best one, and which is going to be really helpful for a lot of people, is we've got a brand new subway line open called the Queen Elizabeth line, and we have 3 different trains into London. We have the Heathrow Express, we have the Queen Elizabeth line subway, and we have the Piccadilly line subway. Heathrow Express is the quickest, takes 25 minutes, but a one-way fare will cost you around £25, and you can't use any Oyster cards on it. It's just £25, and it takes you into London Paddington Station. Second option would be the one I would strongly recommend is the Queen Elizabeth line, which is our newest subway line, and it takes about 30 minutes and it goes into Paddington. It also goes to Bond Street, Tottenham Court Road, then across into East London. So basically what it does, it connects Heathrow through central London out to the east part of London. So for people staying in the centre of London, for example, if you took the Queen Elizabeth line to Tottenham Court Road, that connects you with the Central Line and Northern Line, and the station itself is right in the heart of London's West End too. Whereas with the Heathrow Express, it costs, and also in the Queen Elizabeth line, you can also use your Visit Oyster cards, whereas on the Heathrow Express you cannot. The third option is another subway line called the Piccadilly line, but that takes forever. It stops at every station, literally, and it takes about 75 minutes to get to the centre of London. Again, you can use your Visit Oyster card on there. The rate on the Piccadilly line is a lot less than what it would be on the Queen Elizabeth line, I guess. But yeah, the Queen Elizabeth line is the line I would recommend. And one thing to to understand is when you follow the signs to the trains. There's a path taking you to the trains, and then the path will split off, and then one route will go to the Piccadilly line, the other route will take you to the Heathrow Express and the Queen Elizabeth line. But one important thing to notice is the Heathrow Express and the Queen Elizabeth line share the same track, but it's quite easy to identify the two trains. The Heathrow Express quite literally has Heathrow Express written on it, and the Queen Elizabeth line is a brand new, fancy subway train, and the logo's in purple, like a London Underground sign in purple. So it's a really cool. I've done it myself. I've actually been to Heathrow and back on it, and I can vouch for it. It's a really good train, and I'd highly recommend that way into London. Heathrow is a long way outside of the centre of London, so there is no point getting a cab or an Uber or a bus, because it would take quite a long time, and also it'd be extremely expensive to take a cab or Uber from Heathrow to the centre of London. And like I explained, the Queen Elizabeth line literally takes you 35 minutes to Paddington, then another 5 minutes onto Tottenham Court, onto Bond Street, and then a few more minutes to Tottenham Court Road. And a lot of the guys on here are staying in the Tower Bridge area. So if they catch the Queen Elizabeth line to Liverpool Street Station, they can then transfer one stop onto the Circle or District line to Tower Hill, and Tower Hill is the station for Tower Bridge. So anybody staying in Tower Bridge, which I believe there are a few, the closest subway station is Tower Hill.
Okay. So the Clarks have a question. They said, we're staying at the Paddington Park, so take the first train, and where did they get the Oyster card from?
Okay, I believe I'm not 100% on this, but I believe at I know you guys are flying into terminals 2 and 3, that there is a Transport for London ticket office, and then you can go there and buy your visitor Oyster card from that office. You can't buy a visitor Oyster card from the ticket machine. You can only buy just a regular Oyster card, which I think is about a couple of pounds more than a visitor Oyster card. But yeah, when you get off the plane and head towards the subway station, just speak to a member of staff there, and they'll be able to point you in the right direction. So I believe there is a Transport for London office where you can purchase your visit Oyster card from.
Okay.
But I believe you can also purchase. I think it might be a bit late now, but I think you can purchase the Visit Oyster card online. But I think it's too late now because it won't get to you in time. But yeah, I mean, I believe there is a Transport for London ticket office. So if you go in there, you can buy the Visit Oyster card. If you go to the ticket machine, you can only buy just a regular Oyster card, which is maybe, I think it's about £2 or £3 more.
Okay. So, all right. So we have Melissa Allen. She's asking, what's the best payment option if you don't have the visitor Oyster card? I know, I think Kevin said something you can use your phone.
Yeah, I mean, what you can do, I mean, me living here, is we use our debit cards. But the only problem with a debit card is I don't know what fees your bank will charge you for transactions, because you'll be using pounds. So you'll probably get charged by your bank conversion rates or stuff like that. So the easiest way, if you're a non-UK citizen, is to buy an Oyster card of some description, because it gives you reduced travel. I mean, you can use your debit card, but I'm not sure how much your bank would charge you in terms of fees.
Okay.
So I think that would work against you, because the rate of exchange is not great at the moment. So I would say my advice would be to buy an Oyster card, of either a visitor Oyster card or a regular Oyster card, and that would be your best option.
Okay. All right. So we have another question. So somewhat about the airport shuttle to and from Heathrow. So would you recommend using the airport shuttle, like a van or such like limo transportation, or?
If you're staying around Heathrow, yes, but if you're staying in central London, no. I mean, if it's a free shuttle, yeah, maybe you can take it if it's a free shuttle, but it will take you, I'll say, well, about about an hour, hour and a half. So yeah, it'd take you. If it's free, then by all means take it, but it will take you quite a long journey because I say Heathrow's way out of London, so it would take you at least, I'll say, driving about an hour to an hour and a half. But if you've got time, then sure, and it's free, go for it. But if you haven't got time, you want to get into London really quick, then the Queen Elizabeth line or the Heathrow Express would be your best option.
All right. So what if you're flying into Gatwick?
Okay, Gatwick again is much further out of London. It's in a place called Sussex, but although it's a lot further out of London, it has very good rail links into London. So the first train is the Gatwick Express, and I believe I think it's about £28 one way, and that takes you into a really really good station into London called Victoria Station, which is very central. And from there's multiple subway lines connecting you around London. So and that's it takes 35 minutes. There's also another train called I'll say this slowly. It's called Thames Link, and it takes about 45 minutes to 1 hour. But that takes you in. That stops at a lot of London stations. So, for example, London Bridge, if you're staying near the Shard, somewhere like that. Blackfriars, St Pancras International, which is the station for Eurostar. So it stops at about 4 or 5 central London stations. So it all depends where you're staying in London. And again, Oyster cards can't be used on the Gatwick Express. Oyster cards, I think part of the journey you can use on the Thames Link. But yeah, I mean, so Gatwick although it's much further away, it's got very good train links. And once again, forget about using an Uber, forget about using a cab. It'd be way too expensive, and the bus will take quite a long time. And again, if you've got a free shuttle, you can use it, but it will take a very long time. Again, about an hour and a half, I'd say, from Gatwick to about an hour to an hour and a half from Gatwick to London, central London.
Okay. All right. So, So Darren just explained that just getting on the shuttle from Heathrow is going to be a little bit expensive, but if it's free, by all means, take it.
If it's free, take it. Yeah, but as I say, the journey would be kind of double the time the subway would take. But if it's free and you've got time, then yeah, go for it. It'd just be a long journey. That's all. But if you haven't got time, if you want to be somewhere really quick, then forget about it and just take the subway. But yeah, if it's free and you've got the time, take it. Yeah.
Okay.
Because then at least I think with the shuttle, at least it's going to take you straight to your hotel. Whereas if you took the subway, you then would have to find your way from the station to your hotel.
Okay. So I know this is an irrelevant question, but the one and only Jack Spade had asked, how far is the Etihad from London, the greatest stadium of all time?
I thought that was in London, the best stadiums of all. The Etihad. Sorry. That's Manchester's about 2.5, 3 hours from London by train. So it's quite it's quite a bit of a journey.
So it's a waste of time.
And also train travel, unless you book way in advance, it's going to cost you an absolute fortune. Because train travel, unfortunately, in the UK is extremely expensive. So
Jack, you heard it. It's a waste of time. You're wasting your time. Don't go.
Yeah, might as well come to Millwall. We're a much smaller stadium. But
so you touched on the Eurostar. Can you explain a little bit about that? Some folks are going on the Eurostar.
Yeah, Eurostar's pretty cool train. I mean, I've done it quite a few times, and it's so much easier than going to an airport because the station's called St Pancras International. That's where you get the train from, and again, multiple subway lines run into it, like Northern Line, Metropolitan Line, Circle Line, Hammersmith and City Line. And when you get to the actual station, you use your barcode, and that opens the gate. And literally, as soon as you walk through the gate, you arrive at UK Customs, Border Patrol, sorry, and then you just show your documentation. And then behind the UK one, you'll come to the French one. You show your documentation, and then you go through security, and then literally within about 10 minutes, you're sitting down in the waiting area for the train. So it's so easy. It takes, on a good day, it would take you about 10 minutes. On a bad day, maybe 30 minutes. But you don't have to walk for miles. You literally, as soon as you go through the gate, you're at the UK Border Patrol. We give you passport, and then once you finish that one, behind that is the French one, and then behind that is security, and then behind that is the tracks and the waiting area and stuff like that. And the benefit of having the UK and the French passport control is that when you get to France, you can just get off the train. You don't have to go through a passport control again. Most people on a Eurostar take their bags with them because there's quite generous, like, overhead luggage racks, and there's big racks at the end of each carriage. So you can check in your bags if you want to, but majority of the people don't, because it's a lot easier just to take it on board with you. So then you have you don't have that hassle. So if you've got your bags with you, you literally get off the train and leave. And the station in Paris is called Gare du Nord, and there's lots of loads of subway lines there, which connect you to all different parts of Paris. But I highly recommend it. I mean, as I say, I've done it quite a few times and never had any problems. It's so easy to do. And then on a reverse trip, it's the same thing again. You literally go through the ticket barrier, through both passport controls, onto the train, straight back to London. So it's not as stressful as going through an airport. It takes all that stress away. So yeah, I highly recommend it.
Okay, so but in order to use the Eurostar, a passport is required.
Oh, definitely, yeah. In Europe, we still, because we're no longer part of the European Union. France are, so yeah, we definitely have to use passports now, because to get into an EU country, we have to have passports. So yeah, you definitely have to have passports, 100%.
Okay. We just had somebody just join named LaMarcus Boyd.
Oh yeah, I've been speaking to him.
So his question is, can you touch on the card that is available for travel once we arrive in London? So I'm assuming he's talking about the Oyster card. But that card will be available once we arrive in London, correct?
Oh yeah. I mean, if there's a Transport for London office, you can go in there and buy the visitor Oyster card, which you showed in your site. If not, you can go to a ticket machine and just buy a regular Oyster card. And then I can just maybe explain a few things. With the Oyster card, we always recommend having one, because just regular tickets are just way too expensive. And also on an Oyster card, we have what we call a cap. So, for example, if you're coming from the airport, you're in zone 6, and then if you're going to central London, you'll be in zone 1 or 2. And the daily cap, which normally, I believe, is £14.90. So then what happens is you can travel, once you hit the £14.90 limit, you'll not be charged anymore. So you can just travel unlimited for £14.90. And then once you're in London, so say day 2 of your trip, for zones 1 and 2, which is the tourist areas, the limit is the cap limit is £8.40. So again, when you reach the £8.40 limit, you won't be charged again. You won't be charged anymore. So again, you can have unlimited travel in zones 1 and 2 for £8.40. And then, sorry, on game day, Wembley Stadium is in zone 4. So the cap limit on that day would be £11.90. So then you can travel again unlimited on game day for £11.90. So we have cap limits all over the place. depending what zone you're going to and from. So it's best maybe, depending on how long you're staying, I'd say between 40 to 70 pounds maybe put onto your card, depending how long you're staying for. Because the trip from the airport to central London, if you're going to travel around London when you arrive, is 14.90. If you were to go from the airport just to central London and not travel any more that day, it goes down to about £12.
Okay.
So
all right.
as long as you got enough money on your card, I mean, that's what I'm saying. I'm saying a rough guide would be like between 40 to 70, depending how long you're going to be here. And I mean, majority of the time you'll be traveling between zones 1 and 2, which is the tourist areas. It's only when you fly into London, fly out of London, you'll go to the higher zone, and on game day you go to the higher zone, so you go to zone 4. But so game day, the limit would be £11.90. So once you hit that limit, you don't get charged anymore. So basically, it's unlimited travel for £11.90 that particular day.
Okay. All right. So we have
I hope that
another.
explains that.
It did. But so if all else fails, guys, make sure you have money on your card, and then once you reach that limit,
That's all you need. Yeah, that's all you
won't
need. Just
charge anymore. So make sure you have some moolah on there.
Yeah, as long as you have money to cover you, that's fine. And as I say, we have a cap on each kind of area. So zones 1 and 2 is £8.40. Zone 6, which is where the airport is normally £14.90 or £12 if you're not traveling anymore that day. And game day, Wembley is in zone 4, so it increases a little bit to £11.90. So as long as on game day you got £12 on your card or something, then you're good.
All right. So,
But just one other point. You can top up, at stations, also like just stores. You can get, if you see the Oyster card sign, like it's a blue card, in like a supermarket or a grocery store. So it's not just stations. You can go to grocery stores. You can go to supermarkets. And I believe you can also register your card online, so you can actually top up online as well.
Okay. So Shayla had a question, but this question kind of goes hand in hand the question you just asked. So we're going to skip Shayla's question and come right back to it. LaMarcus had asked, can he use the American dollar, or does he need to the currency?
No, it's a good point, actually. And I can just explain a little bit. You can't use dollars in the UK. You can only use British pounds in London. But the thing is, in London and the UK, really, since COVID, is we very rarely use cash these days in the UK. If you'll find in central London that most of the bars and most of the restaurants are card only. Wembley is a cashless stadium as well. So remember, at Wembley, you have to bring card. You can't use cash at Wembley. The only places really these days you use cash are like supermarkets, fast food restaurants. Some bars may take cash, but as a rule in central London, it's card payments most of the time. I mean, me personally, living in London, I very rarely draw out cash unless someone says to me, "Oh, you have to pay me by cash," then I'll draw out cash. But normally for me personally, I use my card every day. I very rarely will use cash.
So that's a good question.
But also you got to understand as well how much your bank's going to charge you for transaction fees and stuff like that.
Right. I had gave the advice is if you have probably American Express or a Barclays credit card, the fees are they don't charge you the conversion fee. I know from the American standpoint.
Okay. The only thing I think about American Express, I think it's a bit hit and miss who takes them. I don't know why, but it seems to be a thing about American Express. But just be wary. I mean, yeah, I think something like a regular credit card, you're good. I mean, or a debit card or stuff like that, you're good. But yeah, like you're saying, some credit cards in the States may not charge you fees. Others may charge you fees, and as I said, the rate of exchange is not particularly great in the moment. So
that answers his next question. What is the conversion rates to pounds to the American dollar? I can do a quick Google search right now, and
I know pound to dollar is 1.26, I think, at the moment from pound to dollar. I'm not sure what it is the other way around, but I know if I was going to you guys, I'd get $1.26 to every pound.
Okay. I'm gonna pull it up on the screen. Yeah, it's not good.
No, it's not. I mean, that used to be the perk for us going to see you guys, is we used to get really, really good exchange rates. So things would be so much cheaper for us. And it's quite funny because when you used to go to Orlando, you used to know who the British tourists were and who weren't British tourists, because you'll see them coming out of the outlet stores with like bags and bags of like sneakers and jeans, and because it's so much cheaper for us like 10 years ago. But now, yeah, it's virtually the same for us now. It's just not really, doesn't benefit us anymore.
All right, cool. So we're gonna go to Shayla's question. Can you give us an idea of what to expect when going to Wembley, preferred gate, etc.?
Yeah, Wembley's kind of a special stadium. It's special for us in the UK. So it's special for like me. Whenever I go, still I get like excited and stuff. And Wembley is it's an amazing stadium. So when you get off the subway, you would walk down the stairs and you walk along and you approach the stadium. I did send a link a few days ago that they've got a lot of stuff going on around the stadium, which they didn't have before. So I think the Jaguars got lots of different things going on around the stadium, like food zone, drink zone. You can take part in games and stuff like that. There's no specific gates, but I believe the Falcons are on the benches on the south part of the stadium. So if you're on the south part, you'll be obviously behind the Falcons bench. So yeah, for the Falcons fans, maybe you want to be on the south side of the stadium as opposed to the rest of the stadium. And one thing to notice, which obviously you wouldn't see in the States, is for us in the UK, it's a big day out for the NFL UK. So all the UK fans come out, and you will see that all other 31 teams are represented. So you could find out, you could be sitting there, you could have like if you're really, really unfortunate, you could have like an Eats fan sitting next to you, and then a Panthers fan the other side of you. You just don't know. It's just random. Everybody reps their team basically. So when I've been in the past, when the Falcons not played, I would turn up in my Falcons gear, and you get lots of banter. Yeah, that's the way it is. But it's not like the States. I mean, we don't really have what you call tailgating or anything like that. It wouldn't be allowed in the UK. It's just not that kind of thing. But there are plenty of like bars around the stadium, and as I said, there's lots of stuff planned at the stadium. Another thing, you guys, it's going to be different for you guys, is I know when I've been to US stadiums and arenas, you get a lot of choice in terms of food and drinks. Wembley, unfortunately, is generic. It's just the same. It's nothing special. It's just like standard burgers, standard hot dogs, nachos, and Wembley is very, very expensive in terms of food and drinks, especially alcohol. So a lot of people tend to go to the pub before the game and drink, or go and have something to eat before the game, because it's so expensive inside the stadium. But you've got no choice. I mean, once you're in there, of course you're going to drink beers, but it's just so people are aware, you're not going to get the choice you would get, say, at the Benz. Unfortunately, it's just really generic. You walk around the stadium and it's just the same. Everything's the same. So unfortunately, you're not going to get that much of an option in terms of like food and stuff like that.
Okay. All right.
Oh, and also, if you want to buy merch, there's a massive NFL shop going to be open on the day. So there's people selling like jerseys and other stuff like that, in case anybody wants to buy stuff.
All right, cool. So we have a question. Someone says, "Can we bring flags into Wembley?"
I believe you can, but I believe as long as it's not on a pole, I believe it's okay. So if it's just a flag on its own, I believe that's okay. But I think if it's on a stick or on a pole, you can't. Not sure if you can bring them in. I'm not 100% on that. You'd have to maybe. I can come back on that one because I know once you're inside the stadium, they tend to give out flags to wave. So I think as long as they're a certain size, you're okay. If you're just bringing banners in like that type of thing, I think you're fine. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Cool. So that was one question. So
Because also in the stadium, if you're unfortunate to be, I don't know which end zone it is, but if you're in one of the end zones, they have all Jags flags for everybody to wave for the Jags. So yeah, you could have really annoying like people just all waving Jags flags around you. So yeah, they do want to try and get all the other fans to support the Jags.
but as far as you, Darren, you won't do that, right?
No. They're not my team. No, never. If they came here again, they'd be my second team. Falcons would be first, but yeah, nah, that flag can stay where it is.
All right, fair enough. Okay, so you said there's no tailgating, but the Falcons are hosting an event.
Yeah, the Green Man Pub. I mean, the Green Man Pub's it's about I say about 5 minute walk from the stadium, up a big hill, but it's a huge pub. It's got a massive outdoor area. They have they have food going on there outdoors as well. And it's a really cool place to be. It's a really good atmosphere. And then you can walk downhill back to the stadium. But to get there, it's about a 10-minute walk from the station, and then a 5-minute walk back to the stadium. We can put a map on the site, and then on the day itself, I think I'm going to be getting to the station around about 10. So I'll probably be at the station between 10 to half 10. So if people want to go with me take them to the bar, then that's fine. It's a good. We tend to just go to pubs before because there's no tailgating. So there's quite a few pubs around Wembley, but the Green Man is the main one, and that's the one with the biggest capacity. So it's really easy to get back to the stadium. It's literally just 5 minutes down the hill. So it should be a good atmosphere there.
All right, so that's for Sunday. So on Saturday, the Falcons are hosting something. And that's from 6 to 7:30 p.m.
Yeah, and that's at the pub called the Admiralty, and that's based in quite an iconic area. It's right next to Trafalgar Square. So if you want to take your pictures of Trafalgar Square, like Nelson's Column and stuff like that, that's literally right next to across the street from the bar. So to get to this place, to get to Trafalgar Square, the nearest subway stations are Charing Cross, which is on the Northern and Bakerloo line, or Embankment, which is on the Circle District and Northern line. And they're literally like a 5-minute walk away. You could also maybe get off at Leicester Square, which is on the Northern and Piccadilly line. Again, that's a short walk away. So you've got like 3 different subway stations close by. So it's really easy to get to. And that's like I say, it's in quite a touristy part of London.
Okay. And for that, go ahead.
And I believe the Falcons bit's on from 6 to 7, and people will be arriving at different times of the day. I mean, I think a lot of people are arriving between 3 and 4 o'clock just to have a few drinks, and then obviously the Falcons will do their thing.
Okay. And also, I'm not a Georgia fan. However, some people are going to want to watch the Georgia football game, and I know you have a range area, and I know some people were asking on Saturday
Yeah.
the area, the pub that you have reserved when you need reservations for this, correct?
Mhm. Yeah. What it is? It's a bar. I don't know if I'm going to pronounce this right. It's called Passayuk Avenue, and it's in Waterloo, which is 2 stops from the Falcons event on the Northern Line, so it's really close by. And they show NCAA games. So that I went there yesterday, and the guy confirmed they're definitely showing the Georgia game. And I provisionally booked a table for 10 people, and I think we've got 5 people so far. So, but if anybody else wants to go, then I think we'll send them the link to the place, and then all you do is you either go online or give them a call. But you must tell them you're going to the Georgia game, because they will then sit you where the Georgia game's on. But they've told me that's going to be the main game on Saturday, so you should be able to see it. But as the guy told me, they do show other games. So if you are making your own separate reservation, then just make sure you tell them that you are going for the Georgia Bulldogs game, so they can put you in the right part of the bar. I mean, like I said, I booked a place for 10 people, and I think I've got 5 people so far. So if anybody else is interested, then maybe they can join us. But if they want to do it independently, then yeah, they can do it themselves.
Okay, so I got a public service announcement. So anybody who sees Darren, everybody needs to buy him drinks. Okay, drinks and food is so Darren, you shouldn't have to spend a dime. Okay, so with all of this knowledge that you're giving, so this goes for everybody. So when you see Darren at these places, Darren doesn't buy anything. So you make sure that Darren is on you guys' tab.
And there's just a couple of just a point I want to make for people who are not staying in London. If you're staying outside of London and you have to catch a overground train into London, on Saturday we've got a strike, so there's no trains coming into London from anywhere. The subway's still running, buses are still running, but overground trains are not running. So if you're staying in somewhere like Watford, I believe a few people are staying in Watford, then you would need to go to Watford subway station and take the subway into London. So just be wary of that there is a train strike. So the subway will be a lot busier than usual on Saturday because there's no trains.
That's good to know. So
and
go ahead.
One other thing is, maybe someone brought this up about tipping. In UK bars, like UK pubs and bars, we don't tip in bars, so you just buy your drinks and off you go. In restaurants, it's slightly different. What we have in the UK is what we call a service charge. So when you get your bill, you might see on their service charge 10 to 12%. What the service charge is the restaurants are being cheeky. They are taking the tip already. So that 10 to 12% is the tip. So they've already taken the tip off you. So if you are happy paying that, you pay it. If you think your service is rubbish, then you can say, look, I'm not paying that service charge. If you get your check and is blank and there's no service charge, then your tip is as usual. So a good bit of advice is they normally have on the menu if the service charge is included. If you don't see it, you can just say to your server, is service charge included? If they say yes, then you don't tip because that's included in the tip. If they say no, then you tip as you would normally tip somebody.
Okay, that's good to know. Here in America, they're doing the same thing. They're automatically adding the 18% service charge, and then they still want you to tip. You know, that's
here. I mean, if the service is not out this world, you can maybe add a bit more on top of that on top of that service charge. But it's a bit of a grey area here because some people are saying, "Oh, hang on a second, let me have the meal first, then decide if I want to give you 10 to 12%. Don't just say I'm going to pay you 10 to 12%." So just so people are aware of that. So if you see on your check it says service charge, then you don't have to add anything else unless the service was like amazing or something like that.
Okay, that's good to know. So I hope you guys are paying paying attention to that. That's very good stuff. Now, for those who are going to Paris,
Yeah.
what is the best way for them to go? A lot of them are going on the Eurostar, and a lot of them are flying. What is it, Ryanair or something?
Yeah, Ryanair, EasyJet. It's all about cost, really. I mean, Eurostar is a lot more expensive, but then it's about the same time as getting a flight. But it's just that the difference is it's so much easier. You know, you don't have to go through all the hassle, like walking miles around the airport and stuff like that. The train is literally right there as you go through. And the only problem with low-cost carriers such as EasyJet is they tend to fly in the smaller airports outside London. It's not the main airports. I mean, EasyJet do fly from Gatwick, but they also fly from like Luton and Stansted. And again, they're not in London. Luton's about 45 minutes to an hour from the centre of London. So people just got to be aware of that they don't tend to go from the bigger airports. They tend to go from the smaller airports. So that's why the cost is low. But I think, Eurostar, 2.5 hours. I think if you were to go from somewhere like Luton, that would take you maybe in total, the whole journey from central London would be about 2.5, 3 hours. So it's just the inconvenience, I guess. I mean, because Luton, I think I see some people go from Luton, which is fine, but it is a smaller regional airport outside of London, so it's not one of the main airports.
Okay, it's good stuff. Good stuff. So we had.
But I did put something on your page earlier this week, I think, telling people how to get to Luton. So so it should be cool.
Okay, so someone asked, would you recommend that they take the train from Heathrow to Waterloo, to the Waterloo area? That's where they'll be staying.
If they're staying at Waterloo, then you would take the Queen Elizabeth line to Tottenham Court Road Station and then transfer onto the Northern line to Waterloo.
Okay. And how long is that train ride?
In total, I'll say about 45 minutes. Yeah, 45 to 50 minutes. But it's easy to do. The transit's easy. So I mean, I think for most of the people traveling, I'd always kind of recommend the Queen Elizabeth line.
Okay. All right. Let's see here. What else we got? So Saturday evening, what are some things for people to do? Do they have hip hop clubs, jazz clubs, any type of entertainment? Would you recommend?
To be honest, I'm not too into that kind of music scene, but there is places like, if you want to do that, I mean, Leicester Square, there might be a few clubs. Camden, probably there'd be a few clubs like that. Mm-hmm. But the good thing about where the fan rally is it's a really good surrounding areas. So just literally up the road, you've got Covent Garden, and that's really cool for restaurants, for bars, a few clubs there. Other direction, you've got Leicester Square, and that would take you to Chinatown, through to Soho, and again, lots of bars, clubs, restaurants there. So there's a lot for people to do once they've left the fan rally. I mean, Covent Garden, I recommend. That's a really good area. And then again, Leicester Square, you got Chinatown, Soho, Oxford Street. That's kind of like the main hub where all the bars, restaurants, and clubs are. And Camden also, you have a few bars and clubs, but that's a little bit further away. But it's quite how will I call it? It's kind of a bit of a kooky kind of area because it covers everything. So you've got every genre of music, crazy looking people. But during the day, on Saturday, if you went in the morning or early afternoon, Camden's famous for its street market. So they've got a really cool street market in Camden. It's got like loads and loads, like a labyrinth of stalls and food areas. So yeah, if people want to get some bargains or stuff like that, you can go down to Camden. And then also you've got the bars in Camden and restaurants and stuff like that. So
Okay.
Camden's worth a visit, but it's very, very busy. Lots of tourists go there on Saturday and Sunday for the market.
Okay. Good to know. What else we got? So we got someone who just said found a brunch spot called Bando Bar.
Not heard of it, but yeah, I've not heard of that. Maybe if they know what part of London it's in, then maybe I could give a bit of advice. But I've never actually personally been to that place myself.
Okay. All right. Cornelius, can you give us some more insight on that? While he's giving up some more detail on that, someone says, what time does the strike start again on Saturday? And what line does it affect? I'm sorry, I didn't quite get what you were saying.
Yeah, it's I think it starts around midnight on Friday. Again, I'm not 100%. I mean, I can put the information on tomorrow, but what it affects is it doesn't affect any of the subway lines. It only affects what we call the overground lines. So it's like the high-speed trains, like Amtrak trains, for example, into London. So if you're in Atlanta, for example, it wouldn't affect MARTA, but it would affect Amtrak or something like that. So it's the overground trains it really affects. So unless someone's actually staying outside of London and they have to get an overground train in, it will affect them. And it goes on till the trains start running again Sunday, but it probably won't be normal again until like the middle of Sunday. So yeah, it does impact London quite badly. But if you're staying in central London or just on the outskirts and you're using the subway, no problem at all. You won't have any problems. The only issue is it'd be more populated than usual. So because people who can't catch a train would try and drive into their nearest subway station and take the subway instead.
Okay.
But I will put something on your page tomorrow about the strike. I'll get the information and put it on there. So
okay, perfect. All right, so we can wrap it up here. Does anyone have any questions? I know that people are going to be arriving. People are excited, but
yeah,
we just need to. I know some people had some questions which that I couldn't answer. So if you're on listening to this podcast, I would advise you to ask. I mean, of course, when you get to London, you can ask. Don't get me wrong. However, you do.
Yeah, I've had a few people already.
Okay.
Yeah, I've had a few people already contact me over the last couple of weeks or so, and it's fine. I mean, one or two people I may not have got back to straight away, which I apologise to, but most of the other people I've managed to help out and sort them out. But yeah, I mean, if they have any other questions, then sure, I'll try and help them out. But as I say, tomorrow I will try and put something on about the train strike, so everybody can know about it. But as I'm saying, if you're using the subway, it doesn't affect you. It's only if you're in the suburbs. So if you're outside of London, I mean, I guess if you were flying into Gatwick on a Saturday, then you would be screwed basically. You'd have to get like a bus or a cabin because you wouldn't be able to get into London from Gatwick by train. So, but that's only if you're arriving Saturday. If you're arriving Friday, not a problem. As long as you get in here before like evening time, you should be okay.
Okay. So what I've done, I have put the Elizabeth line on the screen. I don't know if you can see it.
Yeah.
I have put that on the screen, and you would recommend people to take this train?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's as I say, it connects like Heathrow to the other side of London, like to East London. So it goes through West London, Central London, into East London. So it's taking care of all of London basically. And it stops at key stations with major like connection, like major lines you can connect to, and also just it's a cool train. I mean, it's a brand new, and it's, I don't know, it sounds crazy. I sound a bit stupid, but just when I first saw it, I thought, oh, okay. And it actually has air conditioning. So when it was really hot here a few weeks ago, a lot of the subway lines don't have it. You go onto the Elizabeth line, it's like walking into a fridge, and it's like a refrigerator, and it's like lovely. You got on there, you just sat there thinking, yeah. But as soon as you got back off again, it's like, oh, it started melting again. But it's a really cool line. But as I said, they use the same track as the Heathrow Express, so be careful not to get on the wrong train, because if you get on the Heathrow Express, they will not accept your Oyster card, and you'll have to pay like the full fare of, I think it's £25-28, and they also may give you a penalty fare as well. So yeah, but you can tell the difference. The Heathrow Express has it written all over it, and then if you look on the screen, it will tell you which one is which, and you can also ask somebody on the platform, just say, when's the next Elizabeth line, and they'll point you in the right direction.
All right, now I was looking at. So, is there like a app for this train? Like you can see which stop, like if they want to plan their trip.
Yeah, if you go on Transport for London, so TFL. So if you type TFL Journey Planner, then that will plan your journey for you. You can just put it in there. But sometimes it does give you crazy route options, which are not the best options. But if you did Heathrow to Tottenham Court Road, then it should show you the Elizabeth line. But sometimes it does, in my opinion, give you stupid routes which are not the fastest route. But yeah, I mean, you can use TFL Journey Planner.
Okay.
But just be wary; it doesn't always give you the best route.
Okay. Someone just asked the question. What's the best way to get to London Towers from Heathrow?
Is it the Tower of London they're looking at? If it's the Tower of London, then you're to get the Queen Elizabeth line to Liverpool Street, and then you'll transfer one stop to Tower Hill on the Circle or District line. But that's if it's Tower Bridge. See, London Towers. Yeah, that could be. If it's Tower Bridge, that's the route to take. But if it's not Tower Bridge, then if they can contact me and just actually tell me the address, then I could actually tell them that way. But if someone says to me London Towers, I'd assume they're talking about the Tower of London, which is Tower Hill Station.
Okay. All right, cool. We have one more question.
Yeah, sure.
Brixton information. I'm unsure what exactly they're asking, but
yeah, Brixton's, yeah, it's kind of like a hip area, but again, it can be a bit dicey at night. So just be
careful.
Just be streetwise like you'd normally would. I mean, I've been there, as I said, loads of times for concerts. They used to have a big concert venue there, which has unfortunately shut down. But Brixton, yeah, it's not bad. During the day, it's absolutely fine. At night, there's a lot of bars and clubs and stuff like that. And as long as you just as long as you're streetwise, you shouldn't have a problem. And it's really easy to get to as well. It's at the end of the Victoria line, so it's really easy to get to. But one bit of advice I'd give for people if you're staying in Victoria, there is a bus called a number 24 bus. And basically it's like a tourist bus, really, without paying the crazy fees, because the 24 bus will take you to like the Houses of Parliament, Big Ben. It would then take you to Downing Street. Then it takes you to the changing of the guard, then Trafalgar Square, where the fan rally is. And then it goes up to Leicester Square, where you would get off for Chinatown, Covent Garden. Carries on up to Soho, then up to Oxford Street, then eventually to Camden. So it goes through a lot of real key tourist areas. So people staying in that area can just hop on that bus, and then it will take it. You can do your own little sightseeing tour on that bus. So that's just an option if someone's saying in that area like Victoria that they could, rather than take the subway that day, they could maybe just jump on the bus, and then that would just take them all through like the centre of London.
Okay. All right. Cool. That's good. So, so you recommend walking shoes, correct, in London?
Yeah, like wear sneakers or stuff like that because it's just something comfortable. I mean, I always wear like sneakers when I'm walking around London. I very rarely wear walking shoes, but you can wear walking shoes if you want. But you can equally just as comfortable wearing sneakers because you don't tend to walk huge distances. I mean, it's like where the Fan Rally is. That area is quite a big area, but it's got so many places in the same kind of radius. But yeah, I mean, I think walking shoes or sneakers is fine, whichever you prefer. But yeah, it should be fine.
Okay. All right.
But like I said, for the fan rally, if you want to go before the Fan Rally, as I say, close to where the Fan Rally is, you have got like Piccadilly Circus, you've got Leicester Square with Chinatown, you've got Covent Garden, you've got Soho, so many places close by. So if you want to have like some Chinese food first, you could do that and then just walk down to the Fan Rally. It really is that close. It's not that far away.
Okay. All right. Cool. Let's see here what we got. See if we got any more questions for tonight. I know it's getting late over there. It's a little after.
No, it's fine. It's cool. What's the time now?
Oh, yeah. So a question is the weather. What is the lowest? What's the highest?
It's hard to tell. It's so unpredictable here. It really is. It's all I would say to people is bring a fleece. Just bring like a fleece or a jacket or something with you because it's unpredictable. One day it could be like 25, then another day it could be 11. It varies. I mean, I could say it's going to be raining on Sunday and it would be bright sunshine, and then it could be the reverse. I could say it's going to be baking hot and it could be like just pouring down. The thing at Wembley is, I guess, if it did rain, we haven't got a covered roof, so if you're sitting in the lower tiers, you'll get wet. If you're sitting in the upper part or middle part, you'll be dry. So yeah, we don't have a covered roof at Wembley. So if the elements did come, it did rain, then you'd get wet if you're in a lower tier.
Okay, perfect. And somebody said just like Georgia. You ain't never lied about that one. Okay, cool. So what is but currently though, what is like right now, what is the temperature there?
I don't know actually. Today it's not been too bad, so I'll say maybe 17, 18. It's not too bad. I mean, the previous 2 days we've had lots of rain, but today, thankfully, well, yesterday now we didn't have any rain, and I'm not sure if any's planned for this weekend, but yeah, it's around like 17, 18 at the moment.
And that's Celsius, correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think. But it's not too bad. But as I say, just bring a fleece or bring a jacket, just in case. Because me personally, I'll definitely be wearing like a hoodie with a jersey on over the top. Because you never know with our weather.
So 17.
I wish I could be more. I wish I could be more like certain, but I can't because we in this country we can't plan for anything because the weather's just always up and down.
Okay. Well, that's Celsius. I mean, that's 62 degrees Fahrenheit for us. So yeah, that's a little bit. It's not cold, but it's not hot though either. So yes, like Darren. So please heed to Darren's advice and please bring a fleece, something a little thermal on it. If not, you're gonna be freezing your little tushy off.
Yeah, it may get a little bit colder at night. Yeah, but I say it's so unpredictable. I could be saying all this to you now. You guys come over, we can have like 3 days of sunshine, so that could go out the window. But just just play safe.
Play it safe. Yep, you're absolutely correct. So, okay, that is hoodie weather. Yes, Shayla, you are correct.
Yeah.
So, if you guys don't have any more questions, I'm gonna let Darren go. So let's see if anybody pops up with anything else.
Yeah, no worries.
But don't forget to, when you see Darren, make sure you buy him drinks, buy him food. Make sure you take real good care of Darren. He has welcomed us to his part of the pond with open arms, and he's been a very good help.
I'm just returning like the favor, like I mentioned before, back in 2017 when I came over. So I'm a member of different Atlanta Facebook groups, and everybody was so like helpful and welcoming. And when I had issues, when I was stuck at the airport, again, people were like rallying around, giving me options and helping me out. So when the Falcons came over a couple of years ago, not many fans came over because it was just after COVID. But I always said, like, if the Falcons were to come back again in numbers, that I would return the favor and I would give the help back. So I was given the love when I came over, so I'm just returning the love back. So yeah.
Well, we really do appreciate that, Darren, and yeah. So hopefully this helps. And like Darren said, if you need to hit him up, you can go ahead and give him. Send him a DM, and he can get you taken care of. But what I would say is post it in the group and just tag Darren. If you do that, everybody can see it because they may have the same question. Now he's not answering the same question twice, right? And plus, people can it can be there.
And tomorrow I will put on about the train strike and. Just so people can know. But like I said before, if you're staying near a subway station, you've got nothing to worry about. It's only if you're out of London, where you would need to take a train instead of a subway, that you would need to worry.
Right. So yes, folks. So what I do, we get our social media team on it, and what we'll do is we'll create a post for questions, so then it'd be easier for you to go back and respond. It makes so it has it on one thread so people can just look at it. If that will help, instead of just posting one question here, one question there. And then it may be easier for, because, you still have Kevin may be able to answer some questions as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so it make it a lot easier. So everything is, the burden is just not on you. But
really, get Kevin involved too. Yeah.
Yeah, we really do appreciate that, for your help. It's very greatly apprecited. Everybody's excited.
Yeah, just hope we can win.
I think we are. We're going to stay positive on this, right? So I think yesterday it was just a fluke, and come Saturday, it's a great time. So when we're coming back, everybody's excited, and they're ready to do it. To get even louder and ready to support the team.
And like I said before, Wembley, it's going to be a good atmosphere because you have so many. It's not just going to be Jags and Falcons fans; it's going to be everybody. So all 32 teams will be represented. So you have fans from all over the place, and that's what makes it cool sometimes. Because when you're in the bars out near the stadium, you'll get talking to fans and teams you wouldn't even think about talking to, and then you build up friendships and stuff like that. And it's cool. You might have a Bills fan chatting to you. You might have a Steelers fan chatting to you. You're just gonna have just people from everywhere, which makes it a lot more interesting than just like us and Jags fans, I guess.
Okay, all right, that's perfect.
But obviously, certain supporters, I don't talk to, but I think we can guess which ones they are. But yeah, there's certain teams I definitely don't talk to. If I see an Eights fan, I just go the other direction.
Right. Okay. Okay. I mean, man, this is a great bit of information, Darren, that you have given us this evening. And we're looking forward to hanging out with you this weekend and this week.
Yeah.
I mean, it's very exciting. It's an exciting time. But again, if anybody has questions, please make sure we'll put a thread up, and in that thread, you can go ahead and ask questions, and Darren can go back or Kevin can go back and um, answer those questions for you. So then, because again, other people may have the same question, and it'd be easier to do so. So Darren is not getting the same question a million times.
And just going back to currency, I believe you can buy like money cards where you have it in, like you can buy a card in the States which might be in pounds. So then you only get charged. I don't think you get charged the current rate of exchange in the UK as opposed to like the bank charges. Can't remember what they're called. I used one when I was in the States in Atlanta. I had a card and I topped it up and it was in dollars. So it just transferred everything into dollars, the local currency. So I only got charged the local currency when I was using it.
Okay.
I think, yeah, I can't remember what they're called. I mean, I'll try and find out about it, but that's another option. I can't remember what they're called.
Like a currency conversion card, like it's already converted.
It's already in that currency, yeah, and then you can just top it up as you go along.
Okay.
Because that's what I had. I had one in the UK, which was in US dollars. So when I transferred the money, it went straight. It showed straight as dollars, and then it just charged me the local rate of exchange in the States, as opposed to what like bank charges or the rates in the UK. So it's always favourable to me when I was traveling around the US.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
There must be a pounds equivalent in the US.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, so it's like a currency card or something. Yeah, I can try and look into that tomorrow, but yeah, that's worth considering. But yeah, like the person said before, yeah, you can't use dollars. You have to transfer it into pounds. But like I say, majority of the places prefer card payment, so it's not often you're going to use cash. Really, if you want to top up your Oyster, you can use cash. If you're in a supermarket, you can use cash. Fast food restaurants, but majority of the places in central London will be card only. So just so you remember that. So if you go to the bar with like £30 in your hand, don't be too shocked if the person turns around and says, "No, sorry, card only payment."
Okay.
Because unfortunately, that's the way we're going at the moment. We're trying to be cash free over here.
Yeah, I think everybody's going that way.
Yeah.
All the way across the board. So, okay. Well, that's all the questions that I have. But if anybody else have any questions, please speak up. If not, we're going to go ahead and let Darren enjoy the rest of his morning since it's 1 a.m.
It's 1:15, yeah.
Let's see here. See if someone. I hope Darren drink shots of liquor. So Darren,
I could be tempted, yeah.
Okay, because beer's the thing, right? I mean,
yeah. For us, it's a big deal. And the bar, which is hosting the Bam Ready, that's quite a good bar. It's got a good selection of beers and spirits and stuff like that. It's a really nice bar. I mean, and the location is really good because you're literally across the street from Trafalgar Square, which is like one of the iconic locations in London. So people can go and have their photographs taken and then come into the bar.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And also, not far away is like changing the guard's not that far away. But yeah, I don't want to confuse people. But yeah, it should be a good night because I say it's a really good bar and really good location. really easy for everybody to get to. As I said, you've got the 3 subway stations I mentioned, buses. It's a key area in London, so many different ways of getting there.
Okay. Well, that's all I got for you, Dan, for tonight. I will create a post. We do appreciate your time. Thank you. Someone asked, is the king in residence?
I don't know. I haven't got a clue. Buckingham Palace. I think I've only been there once ever. I think he's in France or somewhere at the moment. But yeah, I don't know. I think the only king who might be there might be the Falcons guy with the crown. He might be the only one there. He can wave to the crowd on the balcony.
All right. So the answer. So yeah, I mean, it's almost like, you know, living in the States and how many people don't go to Washington D.C.
Yeah,
you know, it's just, you know, you may go once, right, and then you don't really go back. It's not. Yeah. It is what it is. Unless you live there, you don't.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I'm going there.
It's like me. There's so many tourist spots I've not been to because I just take it for granted living here. I don't go to them, and people say, "Have you been there? Have you been there?" And I'm like, "No, no." And they say, "How can you not have been there? You live there." But for us, we just take it like Buckingham Palace. We take it for granted. I have no real interest in going there, but it's just, it's part of our history.
Yeah. Cree asked, just getting on. What's the weather like? Right now, it's about 62 degrees Fahrenheit because 17 degrees Celsius. So which is pretty cool, but it does warm up during the day. So a light jacket. So I would say to folks, fall. You know. I would say
I'd agree with that. Yeah.
Late October weather, early November weather. So, you know, you got your low temperatures in the morning, but, you know, by 2:00 in the afternoon, we're still looking at a high 70s day.
Yeah, but like I say, the weather's just so unpredictable. It could just change just like that. I mean, I went to Wembley Stadium once, and in one day we had 3 seasons. I got there and it was pouring with rain, then it was windy, then bright sunshine, and it was like, what do you do? Because you've rocked up for a soccer game in the summer, so none of you are wearing any jackets or any umbrellas, and then all of a sudden it's just pouring down rain at Wembley. You're thinking, are you real? Are you being serious? And then all of a sudden it goes windy and then goes sunny. So that's a typical day here. It can just change. You can have like multiple seasons in one day.
Yeah, that's typical. Typical weather. You know, we can have a thunderstorm and then we can have hail, rain, wind, and 5 minutes later the sun's out and now it's cold and now it's 100 degrees. So yeah, we get it. We understand it. We speak the same language when it comes to weather.
Oh yeah.
So well, once again, Dan, thank you for your time. We'll put a post up, and you and Kevin can reply back. I think that would help because some people are going to ask, you know, different questions, and we can kind of keep it up to date. So one more question. Someone just says, charter bus service we had to purchase with our tickets. What's up with that?
What was that again, sir?
What's up with the charter bus service we had to purchase with our tickets? I need you guys to give more detail.
I've seen that on Ticketmaster. Yeah, they were selling bus packages, but the thing is, you don't have to use the bus ticket at all. You can just discard that. It was just part of the deal. You had to get a bus ticket to get the ticket. I don't know why they did that, but yeah, you can just discard the ticket. You don't need to unless you really want to use it, but you don't have to. I mean, it's just. I thought it's really weird because when I got my tickets, there wasn't that option. It was just a ticket only option. But then after a while, they put the ticket and bus option. But yeah, you don't have to use the bus ticket. No, not at all. You can just discard that. Unless you really need to use it, then obviously use it. But if you don't, you can discard it.
Yep.
Because they won't be checking at Wembley. They won't be checking everybody to say, "Oh, where's your bus ticket?" No, they just all they care about is you've got a valid game ticket to get in the stadium. Yeah. So, but I think it's just them trying to make a bit of extra money or something like that.
Okay. All right. Well, that's all I have. If not, like I said, we'll go ahead and make a post. Dan, once again, and we do appreciate your time. You have been very helpful. We will be bringing over our gifts for you and Kevin and the team, so we can have a good time. And we're looking forward to enjoying the city. I think this year is a little better because when we played the Jets 2 years ago, coming off of COVID, some people went, some people didn't. And I think that there was another strain of COVID out, which it's another strain now.
Yeah,
so
put a lot of people off. Yeah, that put a lot of people off.
Yeah. So,
but no, this time now it's all good. You can enter the country freely. We don't require you to have all your, as far as I'm aware, we don't check anymore if you've got jabs and stuff like that. You can just come in. So, yeah, I think France is the same. I think France is the same, that you don't need to. The last time I went to France, which was earlier, middle of last year, I carried all my COVID stuff, and they said, "Oh, we're not interested." So yeah, I think France is the same as us, that you can just go in without your without any documentation, like any COVID documentation.
Okay, someone says, if we discard of the ticket, how would we get to the game?
Oh no, forget about the bus ticket. If you've actually been given the bus ticket, you can get rid of that, but keep obviously the match ticket. Keep the match ticket and use that. But if they've given you a bus ticket as well, then get rid of. You don't need to use the bus ticket. But yeah, you still need to use the game ticket.
Yeah. Okay.
So that's where it's a little bit confusing. I think they've got you to buy a bus ticket with the ticket. If you've only been given a match ticket, then that's fine. Just use that. But if they've given you a match ticket and a bus ticket, then you don't need to use the bus ticket, but you still would need to use the match ticket as per normal.
All righty.
Hopefully that makes sense.
It does. Keep the game ticket, forget the bus ticket.
If they give you one, yeah. But yeah.
All righty. And I know some people are asking about a Rise Up Tour meetup. Yes, we will have one. We just need to actually Darren just needs to give me the address so I can put it on the flyer, what we're gonna do after the fan rally.
Oh yeah. I mean, I can give you the link for the place in Waterloo if people want to see the Bulldogs game. Yeah.
Yeah, and
but I think they're showing other games. They're showing other games as well, but I think it's predominantly the Bulldogs they're showing because they've had quite a big interest in people from Georgia coming over. So they've already got a few people booked already. So I think they're predominantly showing the Georgia game that night because when I went in there, as soon as I mentioned the Georgia game, he goes, "Oh, another one." I went, "Yeah," and he goes, "Okay." So they're looking at I went to the place myself yesterday, and it looks really, really, really cool place. And the guy running it is, I think he's from Philly or something like that. So he was it's quite a good guy. So it all looks good. I mean, it's an American themed place, so it's all like American food. They've got different beers and liquor and stuff from all over the place, but they're selling like Philly cheesesteaks and stuff like that. Because it's based on a place in Philadelphia, apparently.
Oh, okay. So, all right. So I must ask, what's the best place to get fish and chips?
Well, I have to be biased because where I live in North London, there's a place called Toffs, but it's a little way out of the centre. I mean, in the centre, it's not that good because the fish needs to come in from like the coast and stuff like that. But the centre of London, I couldn't say. Where I am in North London, I could say Toffs. It's not a bad place. But there are some in the centre of London, but I couldn't vouch for them. I couldn't tell you how good they were, unfortunately.
Okay. Well, okay. Well, that ends my hopes of getting some really good fish and chips.
I mean, I can ask around. I can ask people who I know live in the centre if they could give me any tips. But I mean, a lot of the bars and restaurants serve it, but they're not. I wouldn't say they're great, but to go to a proper fish and chip shop, yeah. I do know of one, but I don't know how good it is now. It used to be good as a kid going there, but now I'm not sure how good it is. But it's in the centre of London. It's called Friar's Delight, but yeah, I've not been there for a while, so I couldn't vouch for it at the moment. But that's off the top of my head. That's one I know, which is in central London.
Okay. Now, someone did ask, do you need to enter in the gate that you're assigned to?
Yeah, I mean, on your ticket you have like a part of the stadium, so I think it's split into different colours, like yellow, green, and red. And then when you go there, yeah, you have to go into your gate number. Yeah. You just look for whatever block you're in. You might be in block D or block E or block F, but then if you go to block D, you have like multiple turnstiles for block D. So there could be like 10 turnstiles, 10 gates for block D, but you have to go into block D. Yeah. So if your ticket says D, you have to go into D. Yeah.
Okay.
And I think they've got like a clear bag policy as well, where you have to have like a clear bag, so you can't have. I'll put that on there as well. They've got like and also at Wembley, I'm not sure if they're doing it again, but they do like airport style security. So you have to go through like a bit like at the Bends, you have to go through like the screening before you get into the stadium.
Okay.
So you have to go through like the security, like the machine, and you put your keys and whatever in the box, and then you walk through, and they do that before you can get into the stadium. So yeah, you have to go through the security check.
Okay.
But that's only for NFL. All other events we don't normally do that, but for the NFL we do that.
Okay. All right. Perfect. Well, once again,
but yeah, if people want to look up the Wembley NFL clear bag policy, because I'm not 100% what it all actually means, but if people check that, because I think there's certain types of bags you can't take into the stadium, so you have to, yeah, look at if you can go into like Google and just put NFL clear bag policy Wembley, it would then tell you what type of bags you can bring in, and then certain stuff you have to have in a clear see-through bag so they can see it. So that's worth noting as well.
Mm-hmm.
Because you don't want people turning up with their bags and then being told, "Oh, you can't bring that in," and being turned away and stuff. So, I believe we're copying what happens in the States. But yeah, if they Google NFL clear bag policy Wembley, it would then give them a list of what they can bring, what they can't bring, just so people don't get any unpleasant surprises when they rock up and they're told they can't bring certain stuff in.
Okay.
So yeah, that's good to know as well. So
yeah, that's very good information, Darren. That is very good information. Okay.
And like I said, it's going to be obviously an away game for us, and it is going to be very pro Jags. They're going to get everybody in the stadium to try and support the Jags, obviously apart from us, but you'll just see around you everybody waving Jag stuff, and yeah, and then when they're like 21-0 down, they all stop.
Okay. All right. Well, that's perfect. Well, Darren, once again, thank you. Our social media team is going to put information up. Someone did ask, I think this is Penny, location where the Georgia game will be shown. And what we'll do, you can go ahead and announce it, but we'll put it in the group as well, so people can see it as well.
Yeah, and the place is, I pronounce it right, I think it's called Parsi Yunk Avenue, and it's in a place called Waterloo. So when you leave the fan rally, if you go to Charing Cross Station, it's just 2 stops on the Northern Line, so it's really close by. It's not far away at all. And the cool thing, for the tourists, on the walk from Waterloo Station to the bar, you go right past the London Eye, so you can take all your photographs as well if you want to. And also after the game, I mean, you've got a really cool area called South Bank. So if you go across the bridge at Waterloo, you are across the bridge. Yeah, no, you got the South Bank area, which is really cool as well. Got lots of cool restaurants and bars. But like I said, you got the London Eye. You got like obviously the Thames. You can do night cruises maybe if you want to do that. That type of thing. So there's a lot of stuff going on around Waterloo itself for tourists.
Okay.
And I've been past the London Eye, but I've never been on it. I've never wanted to go on it because it's too high for me. A bit scared of it. So yeah, I've not been on it myself. But also to notice, if you want to go on the London Eye, you have to book in advance. You have to book time slots. You can't just rock up and get on it. You have to actually book in advance. You have to book a time slot. And again, I think I mentioned it for the people going to Paris, Eiffel Tower. It's best to book in advance because the lines can be absolutely crazy on the day. And I think a few people have done that already. They've booked their time slots for the Eiffel Tower. So, but that's good. That's good to know. But the London Eye, you can't just walk up. You have to actually book a time slot. You have to actually book a place. You can't just turn up and try and get on it.
Okay. I mean, this is great. This is great information.
So so for people maybe on a Saturday, if they want to just spend a little bit of time watching the Georgia game and maybe want to go to London, I'm not sure how late it runs to, or they can maybe do it before the actual fan rally, because it's only 2 stops away from the fan rally. So they can actually do the London Eye and then go to the fan rally if they want to, but they would have to book it now. I'll have to go online and book it now, try and book a slot.
Okay. Well, you guys, you heard it right here from Darren. He has given us tons of information, tons of gems, and now it's time to execute it. We will post up a link. I'm sorry, not a link. We'll post up of a thread. It's a post, and if you have a question, just ask it, and then Darren and Kevin can go back and answer it. He'll reply at it, and so people can see it, because a lot of us have the same question. So, it'd be easier. It'd be easier for us to go ahead and put it up that way, and it'd be easier on easier on Darren too. I know he wants to help everybody, but but when you got 100 people asking the same question, it can get a bit tedious, and it can kind of get a bit exhausting really quick and really fast. So yeah, but once again, Darren, I know it's late. It's almost going on the 2:00 hour over there. So thanks again. Thank you. So just be prepared to be drunk Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And we promise we won't take any pictures of you while you're intoxicated. We don't want to incriminate you for anything. Just in case you may be tapped to be the next prime minister. We don't want any floating things out there to get you in trouble.
That's cool, man. It's all good.
So, well, thanks again, Darren. Enjoy your morning.
No problem.
And
you enjoy your evening.
All right, and we'll chat soon.
Yeah, no problem. Have a safe trip over, everybody.
All right, thanks. Ciao.
Thanks. Bye.